record. All right, so what we got? We got name some constraints that businesses might have that limit production. Okay, obviously I was not you guys putting in this. So the math is really good, and I'm here to teach you the math, but hopefully we get something like the bigger concepts also. Okay, I'm really talking about in life, you're not going to have time to do everything. This is true for businesses, and this is true for you. You say, like, why can't I do more art? Why can't I do more sports? Why can't I do more math homework? Why can't I work more at my job? There's constraints, okay? Time, resources, space, that gas is a big resource, cost, labor, mental capacity. The big thing is you have to make a decision how to best allocate your scarce resources, and this is true for business also if you're in business, but you have a scarcity of resources. You have a scarcity of time, space, money, and whatever. And you have to learn how you're going to best allocate those resources. And for us in this unit, we are being told some of the constraints, and we need to quantify or put a number and visualize those constraints. Okay. Now you're going to find out how to maximize what you can do. You maximize profit, maximize your time, maximize your output, maximize, whatever, based on the constraints. But this unit is really trying to teach you that there is a scarcity in the world, and you need to best allocate your resources to maximize whatever it is. You maximize your happiness. Okay. Explain what an objective function is. Objective function is the main function. Okay. Objective function is the way you do math. All right. It's different because it has the equal sign. Yeah, the objective function has an equal sign. How about that? The constraints have inequality signs. That's a great point. The objective function is the main question you're trying to answer. Yes. So it might ask you, how do you maximize profit? How do you minimize cost? That's the objective function. That's what you're trying to answer. It defines the objective. Okay, honestly, I have no idea. That's fair. Then you're programming problems that deal with minimizing or maximizing. That's what you have to do to find the answer. Okay, it shows the area you need to shade. It doesn't show the area you need to shade. The constraints are what you graph. You graph the constraints. You don't graph the objective function. Okay, explain the non-negative rule, because it wouldn't make sense to have negatives. All the answers are in the first quadrant because it shows another. No, not really. I don't know, because that's fair, but I don't know, because you cannot produce negative number of items. Yeah, most of the time we're talking about, we're graphing the constraints, and there's not negative constraints, right? Because X and Y are usually numbers produced. Okay, so I assume you mean that has to be positive. The other bound can be negative also. There's no default upper bound. Almost all solvers support bounds. Love to hear more about that. You can have negative number of objects. You can't produce a negative number. Questions, feedback. Is the test going to be moved? How am I? Thank you. I'm okay. I'm tired. It's okay. Here's what I'm doing with the test, because you answered. You asked, so I shall answer first. Is on my list. I am going to keep the test here. Test ORQ. There's a test in Mastery Connect, and there's an ORQ, and you'll probably be able to do it all in one day. Now, I am going to allocate these 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, as also for the test. So what does that mean? That means you're going to have to figure out, you got to work within your constraints. You're going to figure out what's best for you. If you want to take the test on Friday, you have time on Friday to take the test. If you want to take it over fall break, you can take it over fall break. If you want to,
Hold up. I think fall break could be a good time for me to work on it.
yeah, it could be. If you do the test here, then, or yeah, well, you know, Friday and then fall break, then you don't have any new assignments Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. Now Wednesday, I'm going to put the reflection on because the reflection is just tell me how you felt about the unit. But I'm not going to give you more homework on Tuesday and Wednesday when you come back. So if you want to take the time on Tuesday and Wednesday, take the test, you can do the test Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. I hope that that's fair. I thought, you know, I'm really rushing it. You know, some of these kids are going to want to take the test before they take a week off. And some of these kids are going to want the week off and take a little bit more time to do the test. Okay. So I hope that's fair. All right. The test is two parts. There's the multiple choice in Infinite Camp, and it's not in Infinite Campus, it's in Mastery Connect. So in the past, I've always put a little assignment to check Mastery Connect to make sure it's working. I did not do that this year. I know it will come back to bite me in the butt and you'll say, Mr. Brooks, it's not working. Okay. So in order to take the test on Mastery Connect, well, here, let me bring it up. Algebra 2, classwork, constraints test on Mastery Connect. In order to take the test on Mastery Connect, you'll have to go to this student.masteryconnect.com. I did not put the link in the assignment, maybe I will. And you have to put in this code and it asks for your student ID. Your student ID is your student ID from Infinite Campus. Okay, hopefully you guys know your student ID. If you don't know your student ID, let me know, I'll tell it to you. I did not put the student IDs on this form like I did for geometry. I just didn't do it. Some of you are Ms. Culver's students in Infinite Campus, and I cannot put you in the same Mastery Connect. So if you are Ms. Culver's student in Infinite Campus, you're going to use this code. Okay. All right. You can print the test out. If I were taking the test, I'm a nervous wreck when I take tests, so I would print the test out. And especially the ORQ, I would say printing out the ORQ would probably be pretty good. You can use your written notes. Don't use your online resources. Don't, you know, only use what you've written down. Okay. If you take pictures of your work and you send them in, I can give you partial credit. If you don't want to take pictures of your work, don't take pictures of your work. Where's the ORQ? The ORQ is right here. Okay, so you got you have this is actually number 11 is actually on the it's the end of the multiple choice. So this is multiple choice. You'll do number 11 on Mastery Connect. Number 12 is graph. Okay. Number 13 is solve. You need to show work, you need to show work for number 13. Absolutely. And you should totally, like, if you want to explain any of your thinking for 14, definitely. 15 is write to equations, label your variables. And number 16 is your linear programming. This is linear programming. Okay. So you guys have your constraints and you have your objective function right here. So in the end, you're going to have to explain what your maximum value is. It does not mean the point on the graph. It means you're going to have to, you know, do the full plug-in and tell me what number you come up with and tell me why it maximizes it. Okay. So this page should be full. I would recommend printing this out. I really would. If you guys have a printer at home, if you guys can print it at the library, if your parents have a printer at work, I would say print this out. That's the way I would do it. I would not do it on Cami. That's I mean, you can do it on Cami, but that's what I would think. Okay. All right. Any questions on the test? Does anybody think that that's exceedingly unfair? Is anybody already mad? You guys excited for fall break?
Yes, mister.
Oh yeah. I was thinking a bunch of everybody would say, heck yeah. You guys are being so quiet.
Yes.
Heck
Okay.
yeah.
Heck yeah, exactly. We gotta celebrate if you work hard, and you guys are working hard. This is not Mr. Brooks is easy, everybody, does nothing math class. You guys are putting in some good work. I'm really proud of you guys. I would put you guys up against anybody else. Okay. Gonna be doing schoolwork all week anyway. Okay. That's geometry in class. All right. So we talked about the test. Let me deviate one more time and let me talk about stuff going on right here. Okay. So there's a bunch of stuff going on right here. I believe we're still meeting at noon on Friday for a little lunch thing. If you guys want to join us for lunch at noon. And we had people that come in. It's been a good time. So there'll be announcements there. There's going to be an energy team. Well, there is an energy team, and it's a Google Classroom, and I'm going to put it together a bunch of modules. I'm told that I can reward students who are in the energy team at the end of the year, but you can put it on your resume. So if you're interested in virtual field trips and you're interested in learning about energy conservation, climate change, how it affects your utility bills, guest speakers. If you want just something to put on your resume, then join the energy team. Okay, so there's a little sign up sheet. And then for juniors, if you guys are juniors, you'll take the ACT on October 15th at 10:30. I know you guys have a different class. I've already talked to Miss Hart and Miss Culver and Abshire, and they'll let you come here. Yes, they are very fun. I think they're fun topics. I think it's something we should talk about more. You then show up here at Friday the 15th. Okay. If you're a senior, then it's your choice. I don't know if you're not gonna take the ACT again, then put your time and energy into something else. Okay. Just a little aside, like, what does the ACT mean? It can mean a lot of money. Like, funny story, our babysitter showed up yesterday, and she showed up in a bright blue, beautiful Civic. And we're like, oh, that's a nice car. And she said, yeah, my parents told me if I got a 35 on the ACT, then I can get a new car. And wow. So she got a 35 out of 36, which is ridiculously good. But what does that mean? That means a 35 basically means like you go to school for free. And it really does. So think about that scholarship. I mean, I think it at least means like $15,000 per year of scholarships. And so 15,000 times 4 years is $60,000. So, for rewarding the kid for doing well in the ACT, the parent saved $60,000 paying for college tuition. So they bought her a, $15,000, $20,000 car, whatever. It's a good deal for everybody. So that was really funny. And there was another story. Mom was telling me she was like pushing her kid or making her kid do this ACT, and she made this kid, this boy, do the ACT 5 times. So 5 Saturdays. So what did he do? He brought his ACT up from I think it was like a 22 to a 26. So for 5 Saturdays, he kept taking the ACT, and they got over, or maybe it was a 28. But it ended up where that threshold that he got was an extra like $4,000 in scholarship. It was what it's worth. Okay. And so, you think, well, man, 5 Saturdays, that's a lot of Saturdays. But, $4,000 times 4 years of college, that mom saw the value of that, and she made that kid do it. So, I'd say, definitely try your best on the ACT, even if you don't do college. I don't think we should force everybody to do college. I don't think everybody should do college, but I definitely think if you take the ACT, you should try your best. Absolutely. You never know. And so David Schultz says, my Civic looks better. It probably does. It was really clean. It looked new. David, post a pic of your Civic somewhere so we can see it. It'd be awesome. What else is on here? You got to do, there's the buddy program. Okay, so where's the buddy program? This is something we're trying out. And if you want to be paired with somebody, meet somebody, help meeting people, then fill out this form for the buddy program. Tell me your interest, and we're going to pair you off. And you agree to meet them, talk to them. You can hang out. You can just Zoom together, or share your Snapchat or whatever. And then we're gonna see how it goes. Yes.
I don't feel like doing the buddy program.
It is optional. The buddy program is optional. So think about if you want to do it, and we're gonna give you till October the 11th to do it. That's the Monday we come back. We don't come back that Monday, but if you guys,
11th.
I'm sorry.
But that's but October 11th, Teachers Planning Day.
Yes, it's the Teachers Planning Day. So you have till the 11th to do it, but all you do is just fill out the form.
Only fill up the form?
And that's only if you want to do the buddy program. Okay, it's optional.
I feel like doing that.
Okay, that's fine. The mind play digital citizenship. There's a bunch of stuff in here you guys have to do. Mind play, and I'm gonna update these notes hopefully over someday. But digital citizenship, make sure you do that, and the civics test, make sure you do that. All right, what else? Edgenuity. I'm not monitoring your Edgenuity because I'm monitoring the sophomores' Edgenuity, but a reminder that you guys should be about 50% done with Edgenuity by the time we're coming back from fall break. Okay. If you are in the blue going into fall break, really you're fine. I mean, really. But over fall break, when you're not working, Edgenuity still assumes that you're keeping pace, and so it still counts. So when you might come back from fall break and you might see everything in the red, whereas when you went to fall break, you're blue. And that just happens because Edgenuity does not account for breaks or weekends or whatever. Okay. But the bottom line is we're halfway there. We're halfway done. So if you are behind in Edgenuity, because you did not do it earlier in the year, you have to do it over fall break.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
I have Edgenuity fourth period.
Yes, that's fine. Somebody says in Google Class, I was invited to Governor Scholar. What's that? The Governor Scholars Program, or GSP, is an amazing program. If you're invited, I would really apply to do it if you have the academics for it. You go to a site, they are spread out around different colleges and universities in the summer, and they teach you academics and leaderships, and then it's a great resume builder. And I don't remember if it comes with an automatic scholarship, but it's called GSP, Governor Scholars Program. And if you look into it, it is an amazing experience. I've known lots of people that have went through the Governor Scholars Program, and they've all really loved it. So if you're invited to it, or if you're invited to apply for it, I would definitely take time to apply for it. So great question. All right. This is something I really, really, really want you guys to know. Okay, and this is not on the test, but profit, revenue, costs. This is really how businesses work. Okay. So you've got to know that revenue, when people talk about revenue, that's all the money they take in. And when you take revenue minus cost, you get profit. Okay, now there's a revenue function, and you guys already know revenue function is pretty much like if you were selling cookies at $3 a cookie, you multiply 3 times the number of cookies you sell, so it's 3x. Okay, and then cost, you might have a different equation or function for cost, and when you put those together, you get profit. Okay, but you guys should understand, how do you increase profit? You increase revenue or decrease cost. And this, if you were to apply this to your personal lives, I would say, the profit is your savings. So think about when you budget. When you budget, you're trying to control your expenses. So those are the costs, but you're also trying to increase the money you make at your job. You're trying to get that raise, negotiate for a higher pay. You're trying to apply for a promotion, or find a job with a better paying salary. So you might go get some more education. You might volunteer to learn some more things or take on more responsibility so you can get paid more. Okay, you're going to have to control, if you want to end up with savings and not wind up in debt, you're going to have to address your revenues, and you're going to have to address your expenses. So your revenues and your costs. Okay, this is one of the fundamental equations of our capitalistic society right here. All right, and this would be what is this? I don't remember if this is Facebook or not. I want to say this was Facebook, but you'll see the revenues up top. 2019 they made 15. I want to say this was in millions, so they made $15 million. It should be probably 15 billion. And then you have costs. You have costs of revenue, which means it costs money to sell stuff. You have costs of research and development, it costs marketing, costs to administer, and you take your revenue and your minus your expenses, and you get net revenue. Net revenue is basically profit. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the business end. And then I saw this and I thought, well, let's share it. So revenues, net profits earned in 1 minute in millions of dollars. So right here, this would be 0.2 million. So Walmart makes several tens of thousands of dollars every minute, and you can see there how much their revenue is. In revenue, they're making almost $1 million a minute. Walmart does $1 million in sales, but that revenue isn't their profit. Their profit is much less because they have to subtract away their costs. You think about that. A company makes almost $1 million in revenue a minute. That's mind-boggling. And then this other one right here, ExxonMobil, BP. This is, you're talking about climate change. Well, who should pay for damage to the environment? These are the people with money. They make almost $800,000 in revenue a minute. Okay, and so why is their profit so low? Well, they have to pay for their executives, and they have to pay their workers, and they have to pay for marketing and research and development and production expansion. So I thought this was really interesting. I just wanted to share it. Linear programming, this is what we're doing. Okay, if you guys have turned in the number 2 assignment, then you've got the key. Well, as not from this morning, but earlier, you should have, if you turned it in yesterday, you should have got the key. Okay, so do go back and look at the key for number 2, and you guys graph your constraints and find your corner points. And this, this is your feasibility region. This is what's shaded. If you're most of the time you use this for maximizing profit. So all of these points in the feasibility region is what you could do. It's possible that you could make that much. And if you want to maximize profit, you're trying to do as much as possible. So you push everything out. So it gets pushed out. And the far edge pieces that you could do is 0, 20, and then this part in the middle, whatever this is, might be 25, 24, whatever, and then 30, 0. And most of the time it's going to be this point of intersection right here. And you plug these points from this point of intersection into the objective function. Okay. This is a 3D model of an objective function. This is what every business does, because every business needs to prove how they're going to maximize profit. They don't just say, well, I think we're going to sell this much. Well, I think we're going to make this much. No. They go in and they figure out how much, like the farmer example. The farmer said, I've got this much sunlight, I've got this much mechanical ability to harvest this much, and I know the profit from soybean, I know the profit from corn, and what amount should I plant? And they use these linear programming, they use these math models in order to figure out for sure how to maximize that profit. Okay, now this is not done by hand, that's true. Okay, it's done in computers, and that's why you can run even a third dimension. Okay, and it is true that some of the constraints are a little how do I put it, like fluffy. Okay, because you say like, well, we can run the machine this much, but sometimes we can overclock it, or sometimes we can, run it too much, or sometimes it'll shut down because, the machine's going to break down. We can't accurately predict all the time how much the machine is going to be down for maintenance, or labor costs. The labor cost might change in the future. Right now, labor costs are changing a lot, right? Workers are demanding more money. Laney says, this is making me depressed. I ain't gonna get near that much money in my lifetime. I know the amount, when you think about what it means to be rich. Like here I am with a couple tens of $1,000s in savings, and I'm like, oh, I'm rich now. And then you hear about somebody that has like $2 billion in money and assets, and you're like, oh, I'm not rich. Like the difference between, there's a really good meme on the difference between $1 million and $1 billion, or even like, if you go even more extreme, 1,000 and a billion. Like $1 billion is a big number. It's really hard to appreciate how much money $1 billion is. Okay, all right. Sometimes when you run these, you're gonna find you have a couple different points that are pushed out. Okay, so in this case, point C and point D are both points of intersections. I know from doing this that it's rarely ever going to be point B or point E that's going to maximize, because we're trying to push production out. And so which is it? Is it point C or point D? So when you get to this situation where you have multiple points of intersection, you're going to have to test. So you'd run the objective function 4 times, this is point C, 4 times, it'd be 4, I'm mixing up my X's and Y's. So, this is 4 or 5, and this is 5, 3, right? So it'd be 4 times 4 plus 3 times 5, and figure out what that is. And then you test point D. Point D test would say 4 times 5 plus 3 times 3. And so point C is going to be, let's see, this would be 16 plus 15, which would be 31. And then this would be 4 times, right? 4 times 4 is 16 plus 15 is 31. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 3 times 3 is 29. So this is 4, 5, yeah. So this one, if you were trying to maximize, this one would maximize. And this one would be not a max. I don't know if it'd be a minimum. I'd say if you're trying to do, come in. I'd say if you're trying to do a minimum, you might try to, test point E and B. I think E and B would be more of a minimum. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had a visitor. So nice to see a human being. Okay.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
I don't see the key for learning programming too.
Yeah. So last night I checked it and I released the key for everybody that turned it in as of yesterday. If it's not there for you, I missed it. So I'll go, did you turn it in yesterday or today?
I didn't turn in yesterday's. I didn't.
Okay. So once you turn it in, right or wrong, then you get the key.
Okay.
So, if you want to just make a guess, if you don't know, then just make a guess and you'll get the key. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Brooks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So any questions about what to do when you get two? When you get two, you just test. You plug in both and you see which one, again, you want to know, are you maximizing or minimizing? Okay. Oops, why am I doing that? All right, I think that's the bulk of it. Let's see what else is going on here with our lesson plans right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There was a warm up today for system equations graphing. Where am I at? I'm still not there. There it is. There was a warm up today in called linear programming warm up in Google Classroom. And I know that this is tough. This is probably one of the tougher things you're going to do this year. So you guys are starting out with the hard stuff. So what I did was I released this video and hopefully this works.
Hey everybody, this is Mr.
So I would like you to try the warm up first, but if you, and here's the warm up is this one right here. So 9 people have turned it in. I'd like you to try the warm up first. And if you're struggling, then go up to the video and try to get as much as you can. And I would even say, like, once you get the constraints, then pause it, go back and see if you can figure out the rest of it, and then go back and check. So there is a key posted in the helper docs where you can see the answer. But what I want to make sure you guys know is that if you're just looking at the key, your brain is learning differently and it's not going to stick as well in the long run than when you try it. And if you fail, you might succeed too. But when you try and you fail, that's the best way your brain is going to learn. Okay. And I'm giving you everything so that, you do it. And then you don't even have to turn in because I'm giving you the key. But let's say constraints number 2, you turn it in, you're wrong. And I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback, but you have to go back in and read the feedback. You have to go back and check your emails. I hope you guys are checking your emails because I'm sending you guys stuff in your emails with feedback with this graphing. And then you have to take the feedback and then you have to go back and fix it. And that is the way your brains will learn. Your brains will not learn great if you just copy the answers. Okay. All right. Now, is there, that's really the main thing I wanted, because I think that most of this is kind of self-teaching, or I have the videos already posted. And so I want this to be as asynchronous as possible. Is there any big questions anybody has, or does anybody like really want me to go over like the way I think about one of the assignments? Do we have any requests for anything?
No.
Oh, David, yeah, if you have an orthodontist appointment, I'll post the video, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay, so you know, stay up with this. Think about when you want to take the test. You have Friday. There's no school Monday, but you have Monday, obviously, all fall break. And then you have Tuesday and Wednesday when we come back, where you're only going to have the test assigned. So if you do the test on Friday, you don't have to do it Tuesday. Okay. And then please think about joining that buddy break, and please not buddy break, but buddy program. And then please think about joining the energy team. Okay, I really appreciate you guys supporting us when we do this. I know I'm taking my time to go out today, and I'm going to do the tour of Rock. You guys can see Rock and see the guts and the HVAC and the electric meter and everything over there, and see what makes our utility bills so high. Okay, but if you guys have no questions, please have a great week. Please give me a shout out before you head off for fall break. And I need to see the people. Bye, Dylan. I need to see those few people that before you go that I said at the start of the class. I'm going to stop share. Stop